Welcome back to Local Edition. I'm Brad Pomerance. Thank you so much for joining us again. Our guest is Rebecca Cooper. She is the author of this book, Diets Don't Work. It's part of a whole system, and I am so glad you're joining us, Rebecca. One of the reasons why I wanted to bring you on is we're heading into the holidays.
Right.
And I always hear people saying, I'm going to diet right before or diet right after the holidays. Talk to me about that whole cycle.
Well, everyone, almost everyone, overeats during the holidays. That's not the problem. It's what you do continuously. So a lot of times people will diet and they'll be restricting so much that of course they're going to binge later. So with the holidays, you know, it's more about enjoying your family and your loved ones and being present with, you know, the activities rather than, oh, I can't partake in this.
Why don't diets work?
Diets don't work because when you restrict, eventually you end up binging. But the most important part of this is that diets actually forces you to look for your appetite control on the outside, externally. So you totally lose connection with your appetite, feelings, everything else. And a lot of times people, for emotional reasons, will start just using food.
Now, I know that you have successfully beaten an eating disorder, several eating disorders, and your mission in life is to eliminate eating disorders. I have two daughters, 8 and 6. I fear that they'll fall into that cycle.
Yes.
Talk to me about the cycle of eating disorders.
Okay. It starts early, and right now is the time to actually, you know, help them, just to be aware. But the main thing I would say is do not encourage dieting. Do not speak about their body, but more about, you know, what they're
it's so
who
funny.
they are. And
my 6-year-old will say to me, I have a fat stomach.
Right.
6 years old.
Right. Right.
It's devastating. What's the response, doctor? What do I say?
Well, you know, again, it's about, this is not the focus. And when you're at that age, your body is going to change.
Of course.
It's normal for an adolescent to gain 35 to 50 pounds.
Right.
Because they're getting tall and developing.
Now, one of the things you want to make sure is that if someone does, for example, go inpatient, that when they get out, they have somewhere to land.
Yes.
And you have launched Rebecca's House treatment programs. Tell us about
those. Rebecca's House treatment programs actually came out of just the community, sending me people who had problems with eating disorders and maybe drug and alcohol addiction. And from that, it ended up growing to we have groups, an outpatient, and then a house for people to live in.
Literally?
Yeah.
Where is it?
It's in Orange County, California.
Where?
Lake Forest.
Okay, so it's accessible to a lot of different people.
Oh, yeah.
And so is it kind of, for lack of a better term, a halfway house? Is that a good way to say it?
The house may be, but the clinic, which is separate, is totally, we have you know, licensed therapists, psychiatrists, medical doctor, you know, we have a whole staff of people who work there and help them.
Talk to me about the hope that we should feel, be it if we're a patient or the loved one of a patient, if we see eating disorders surrounding us.
Right. It is devastating on the family. The family actually, I think, sometimes have a harder time than the person actually with the eating disorder, because they're using the eating disorder as a way of relieving the stress.
Right.
And a lot of times they're not even aware of that their brain is not functioning properly because it does not have the nutrition it needs.
Exactly. That is so true. Right. I mean, it's an organ. You need to feed the organ.
Right.
Rebecca, I want to thank you so much for joining us, but more importantly, for helping those people that so desperately need help. Her book is called Diets Don't Work. It's a very compelling read. It's something we should all learn and live. My name is Brad Pomerance. Thanks for watching. Back to HLN.